Shalom to those that might be watching this live later. Shalom, shalom again. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of great millstone who rule well and teach well through the Spirit. And a mighty shalom to the hopeful elect that are scattered four corners of the earth in the same spirit and in sound doctrine. Lord willing that you all can continue to endure and be sincere. Shalom to the Akwat Young, believers of this faith and this truth. Lord willing you continue to pursue your lot, which is being a loving and silent and virtuous wife. And Lord willing the Most High have mercy on the other brothers and sisters that's not in the faith. In the water. This is another inspired lesson. Lately, been asking the Lord to seal his instructions upon me, which, we all should be, paying attention that whatever is brought out, or however your day, your week, your life, your month is all is sealed. The Lord has sealed your instructions. And for the elect, your instructions is to endure in this thing. And, doing my daily reading, Lord willing, I can continue with the 12 chapters. But was going through Wisdom of Solomon, and this verse just stayed in my head, and I didn't think I was going to do a lesson on it. So Lord willing, this is edifying, and it just brings us to speaking about unbelief is called evil, and unbelief is the result in departing from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So this lesson, you should be guarding your heart, guarding your mind from unbelief, right? And how do people get unbelief is where they contradict what's going on in the word, right? Let alone unbelief will have you acting it out. People say they believe in the Lord, but they're not seeking him, right? And I wanted to bring that verse out last, but I guess we're gonna have to just bring out the same verse that was brought out in multiple lessons, because we want to make a foundation, right? So Lord willing, this is edifying to the hopeful elect, man. And if it's not to those that say they believers, that hey, this is not for you, right? So when we go to 2 Chronicles, the 15th chapter in verse 13, it says that whosoever will not seek Yahweh, power of Israel, should be put to death, whether small or great, whether man or woman, right? With unbelief, you will slack in action towards the Lord. When you go into that word seek, it's multiple meanings, right? Somebody that seek with care, somebody that's investigating. You're investigating Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, from Genesis to 2nd Maccabees, Genesis to Revelations. Let alone you investigate the Lord when somebody is teaching the word, and you're seeking the Lord with care. right? Seeking can be hearing the word, right? Wherever the word is being brought out, if brothers is bringing 100% truth, hey, if you new in this walk and you listen to people that say, oh, I'm a Hebrew Israelite, right? You want to seek that word, and you want to be like the people of Berea. You want to have a readiness of mind to be ready to hear the word, right? And you want to search the scriptures daily to see if it was so. If that brother is saying something that's not pertaining to this truth or to prophecy, right, that just don't mean that this is not the truth. That could be a false teacher, right? And again, this is why we want to call in Yahweh Shem Yahushai to guide us to the right teachers, to guide us to his spirit, right? And the true men of the Lord are abiding in the spirit of Yahushai. You know, the men of the Lord came here with a mission to feed and to edify the sheep of Yahweh Shem Yahushai to the best of their ability, right? We're here to feed those that believe. We're here to feed those that want to believe more, right? Because the whole point is to maximize your faith. If the more you know that the Lord is coming, you have to know the worst is going to come, right? So for those that seek in the Lord, you know, you preparing yourself for that salvation, that deliverance. But if you're not seeking Yahweh Shem Yahushai, you're preparing yourself to perish, to be destroyed, right? And multiple generations in the nation of Israel, and Israel that scattered four corners of the earth that don't even know who they is not seeking this truth. But really, it's not programmed in you to seek this truth, right? So let's go to another one real quick before we go to Wisdom of Solomon. This is Hebrews, the 3rd chapter, in verse 12. It says, take heed, brethren, lest there be any of you an evil, Salaki, take heed, brethren, lest there be in any of you an evil heart of unbelief in departing from the living power, right? Unbelief is evil. Unbelief is evil, right? Again, unbelief is evil, right? Because unbelief will have you departing from Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, right? You're going to be a person that contradict the word. You're going to be a person that's mocking the word or mocking the men of the Lord. You're going to be a person that's friends of this world. What is you doing when you in unbelief? Let's look up this word. I got of course, the blue letter, the coordinates, to enter the interlinear right in front of me. So this is G570 in the Greek.
Strong's G570,
Apostia in the biblical usage is unfaithfulness, faithless, want of faith, unbelief, weak of faith, right? Strong's definition, disbelief in a negative way, the lack of Christian faith, or a lack of, you know, because a Christian is somebody that follows Yahweh Shai. So the lack of faith in Yahweh Shai. Another one is disobedience. So if you are in unbelief or faithless, you are disobedient, right? And the children of disobedience is of the left-hand side, right? Unbelief is an evil act, right? Even when you go to Revelations 21:8, the unbelievers is going to go into the lake of fire, right? You got another noun definition, lack of religious belief and absence of faith, right? Which just goes into disbelief, right? Darkness of unbelief. A distinction between doubt and unbelief is valid and useful, right? So basically, unbelief, you have doubt in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. And even when I was at work, I think the other day, and adding on with this, you know, to believe in the Lord, you have to believe that what he said in Genesis, let alone with understanding that the Lord created Yahweh Shai created the powers, because when you look up the word God, it says rulers, divine ones, and powers, and gods. And God made the heavens and the earth. That wasn't the Heavenly Father, it was Yahweh and the other powers. You have to believe in that, right? Let alone you have to believe in the Adam, where he was naming the animals. All nations come out of Adam. You have to believe that Jacob fought an angel. You have to believe that Noah, the Lord used to make a boat, and his family, and to for his family, and for two kinds of animal of its own kind, unclean and clean, right? And the whole earth was flooded, right? And the sons of God, even the wicked, died in that flood. You have to believe in that. We have to believe in I think it's Isaiah, between Isaiah 36 and 38, where the Lord sent an angel on behalf of Hezekiah, right? Because the Assyrians was trying to, take over Judah or kill, the southern kingdom. But the Lord sent an angel and he killed about 185,000 Assyrians. You have to believe in that, right? It's multiple things. Samson killing 1,000 people with a jawbone of a donkey. You got to believe in that. You got to truly believe in it. You got to believe that only 144,000 Israelites, the elect, starting with the 144,000, and the 1/3 what consumes the other men, women, and children of the elect, right, are going to get beamed up. You got to believe in the chariots of Israel, right? The horse of power. You have to believe in that. Second Chronicles chapter 2, verse 10 and 12, right? Your belief has to be, you have to have a supernatural faith too, because you have to believe in the miracles that the Father did and the miracles of Yahweh Shai. That goes against what one body of Yah, who used to be called one body Yahweh Shai, they don't believe that Yahweh Shai did miracles. They believe that those was metaphors. You have to have faith that the Lord did do those things, and He's going to do stranger things even on this side, even with the men of the Lord. If brothers can say witches and voodoo and sorcery on this side people is doing, you have to understand that the Lord has power. You got to believe in that, you know. So if we don't believe in that, you have doubt, right? So again, Hebrews 3 and 12, it says, "Take heed, brethren, lest there be in any of you an evil heart of unbelief, an evil mind of unbelief, in departing from the living God. But exhort, encourage one another daily, while it is called today, lest any of you be hardened through the deceitfulness of sin." Right? And guess what? The way that we act within our household, right, in this congregation, in marriages, right, that shows if you have belief, because we supposed to be applying what is in the scriptures. And I know I always speak about women. I speak about multiple wives. I speak about a lot of things because this pertains to our belief, right? The women have to believe that men were created different, that men were created. If, a man is attracted to multiple women, hey, that's not off. The Lord accept that, especially when it goes to law. You have to believe in that. And you have to know that you're a woman, that you wasn't made to have multiple rods. Women, you have to believe that if you are with a man of the Lord, that right there and then the Lord have blessed you. Now your little stress of, do he care for me? It is, if you with a man of the Lord, he's following the ways of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Now it's just about you sharpening and building yourself, because now the Lord did the heavy lifting by man's going to the Lord. He moved you in the arms or in the bosoms of a man of the Lord, where you're protected, where this man will lay his life down for you, right? He's providing for you spiritually, mentally, physically, Lord willing, even financially. Hey, and maybe on that side, you doing it too, right? By the Lord, you have to, even a woman that is single, you have to have faith, and you have to believe in the character that the Lord made you as a woman. You are a weaker vessel. Physically, spiritually, and mentally, you are weaker than a man. You have to believe in that. You have to believe that your character, your role was to be created for a man. You have to believe in that. I'm going at all angles. Our children, they got a imagination as a child. Their faith is this way and that way because they're a child. But of course, in this side, a lot of our kids don't want to learn, right? That faith goes with them kids too. When they was believing in Christmas, in uh, uh, Easter, and the Tooth Fairy, right? We have to establish faith in our children by speaking of the Lord, by teaching them the law, right? Your kid is not always in trouble just because they make a damn mistake. But if you see it, that right there is a teaching moment. Shalom to the brother Mashak, right? Yahweh Shemashai Ba'Shem Rakakwatah, Yahweh Shemashai Brakatah. There's a brother from the UK, man. Shalom, King. So again, we all, if we have faith, you want to constantly feed that faith. Men, women, and children. Men, women, and children. What did it say? Exhort one another, encourage one another. This is what a lot of lessons is about. Exhortations to give you encouragement. This right here, it is what it is. But eventually we ain't gonna be able to move in emotion. What's going on in LA? The Northern Kingdom is getting afflicted. Soon you Southern Kingdom about to get afflicted. And everybody else is just lollygagging and just enjoying the moment. Shit is about to get real. Donald Duck is doing certain things. The men of the Lord is teaching. This brother's in the UK teaching. I'm teaching, right? I'm not the only one. So that's why I'm saying the men of the Lord teaching four corners of the earth. That is a sign. Something is about to go down. The Lord don't just bring the men of the Lord out of nowhere and just start teaching. This right here should be a growing faith moment, because we didn't have this thing for 350 years. If the Lord got the teachers out here, four corners of the earth, something about to pop off. That's why your faith, you should be scared. You should be terrified of the Lord, right? Let me get something real quick, and then we go to Wisdom of Solomon, right? Because that's the main point, right? Let's go to Sirach, the first chapter, because fearing the Lord is the key to this thing, man, right? The fear of the Lord is not upon all Israelites right now, right? And it's just it's slowly but surely growing in the elect, right? So let me go down to a good point of fearing the Lord. Dang, that's a good one too. Okay, I'm gonna go to this one. This is Sirach chapter 2, Ecclesiasticus chapter 1, and verse 13. It says, "Whosoever feareth Yahweh Shemel Shai shall go well with him at the last, and he shall find favor in the day of his death. To fear Yahweh Shemel Shai is the beginning of wisdom, and it was created with the faithful in the womb." Right? The faithful in the womb is gonna have a high reverence, a high respect, and they're gonna be terrified of Yahweh Shemel Shai. You don't want to look. I'm telling you, even though you can go to sleep and wake up again, right? It is a terrible case. Just like when I had that dream that I had got, lately I've been having a lot of dreams of getting afflicted, getting shot or something, and the Lord heals me. Um, I have a dream. I go into the spirit world and I'm talking to the Lord, and I be like, I don't know. I want to go back because I don't feel like I did enough to just say, okay, let me just stay with you, Lord. And he allowed me to say, I don't think I did enough. And he brought me back, not just only because I said that, but because he wanted me to be an example of faith in this thing. So just if you still living on this earth, you still able to move regardless of your health, your sickness, the pain that you're going through, you still able to move and endure, you have a chance to be able to show your worth to the Lord. Prove to the Lord that you truly want this. That something is not something you just let brush off your shoulder like it is what it is. No, you breathing life is an actual sign of showing the Lord is really about to see can you really endure, because truly enduring is on this side, not if you go in the spirit world, right? You get shot, you die because of cancer. Hey, anybody that wasn't in this thing or lightly in this thing or about to come in this thing, you go in the spirit world, you don't got no more chance. So hey, if you was either already in this ministry, hey, you most likely, like the brothers that did, like Daniela and the other brother, they was walking in this, they was teaching in this. The last thing they did was do a video. Most likely they the elect, right? But you gotta ask yourself, if you die right now because of a cancer or because you shot and oh I'm a Hebrew Israelite, you wasn't doing nothing. Hey, you might not, that you don't got no chance now. But every day you get to breathe, you have a chance to show the worth, your worth to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, right? So faithful, the fear of the Lord is in those that are faithful. And you were created in the womb, right? So Lord willing, you're shining your light of faith in the earth daily, encouraging other people to continue to press forward to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Now let's get to this Wisdom of Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 10. And this is a beautiful point, man. I ain't gonna lie. It's Wisdom of Solomon chapter 10, verse 6 and 7. This is dealing with Lot and, of course, his wife. It says, when the ungodly perish, she delivered the righteous man, talking about wisdom. Because wisdom delivered Adam, Noah, Abraham, Lot from five cities being destroyed. Wisdom delivered Jacob, Joseph, Moses, and the Israelites. This is what this chapter goes into. It says, when the ungodly perished, he delivered the righteous man who fled from the fire which fell down upon the 5 cities. This is talking about Lot and really his 2 daughters. It says, of whose wickedness even to this day the wasteland that smoketh is a testimony, and plants bearing fruit that never come to ripeness, and a standing pillar of salt is a monument of an unbelieving soul, right? So a standing pillar of salt is a monument of an unbelieving soul. It's crazy, even through the spirit. When I was reading Wisdom of Solomon, I went on YouTube to watch a brother do a video, because then I start getting that little sleepy demon. Because of course I work overnight, and then I get out of work and then I do this. So even saying the scriptures, you get exhausted for this truth. So don't worry about me. It's bound to happen. Sometimes I might, but I push myself to do it. It's really the Lord. But I try to watch a video to get that energy. And after that brother's video, it goes to a video of saying that scientists prove that the pillar of salt of Lot is evidence that this is a pillar. This place, or where they went, is where the fire and brimstone. I turned the video out, not to fact check, but it's just crazy that I was reading this, and then I watched the brother video on something else, and then they go into a video of the pillar of salt. I'm just letting y'all know how my night went. So to me, that was even more inspiring. So I reread this chapter again while I was at work. So again, a standing pillar of salt is a monument of an unbelieving soul, right? Lot wife, what did she do? She turned around, and these angels was telling him, you got to get out of here. But even when you go in the chapter, the sons mocked Lot because they thought he was joking or kidding. They got left behind and they got destroyed. You see? So all you 2/3, if you cleave into this place, like those men were supposed to be husbands, and I'm gonna get your precept too, King. Those men were the husbands promised or espoused to his daughters. But they didn't truly believe. They thought this man was joking, and they died in their unbelief, right? Oh man, I gotta get this real quick. Second Ezra 15. I'm about to read your precept, King. I'm about to read that precept. They died in their unbelief. Guess what's gonna happen to you, to the 2/3? They're gonna die in their unbelief. Yo, it could be your mother, your father, your cousin, your aunt. It could be your wife, right? It could be your husband, depending, right, how your faith is. Because, the unbelieving wife can be saved by the husband because he believe, right? The unbelieving husband can be saved by his wife, right? But, hey, what if both of you don't believe? right? What if you just do something totally that's going off? What if you a woman that's going against the men of the Lord, your husband? How many you doing this? And then you getting sick. Your skin breaking out, you going to the hospital, you laying in the hospital bed, you getting surgery. Guess what? Those can be chastisements, man. The Lord is amazing. This is 2 Ezra 15, verse 4. It says, "For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Behold, saith Yahweh Shemashai, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction." So those that are unfaithful, that's going to die in their unfaithfulness, they're going to either die by plagues, which is swords, and it could be any sword, like a weapon, a gun, a missile, a grenade, right? Shoot, it could be chemicals in the air, famine, death, or destruction. Come on, the unfaithful gonna have uh, um, a miraculous death, but it's already told in the scriptures. The two men that was supposed to be married to his daughters, guess what? What they get? They got destruction, and they got the sword, which was the angels using the elements and creating that fire and brimstone. But the brother put Sirach, Ecclesiasticus 40 and 26, riches and strength lift up the heart, but the fear of Yahweh Shema Shai is above them both, right? It's above riches and strength. It says, there is no want in the fear of Yahweh Shema Shai, and it all needeth not to seek help. Come on, man. And truly, when you go to Isaiah 31 and 2, a lot of us try to seek shelter in the shadow of Egypt, right? Truly, when you fear the Lord, your help is under the bosom or in the hands or the wings of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. You got to have fear in the Lord. Your fear is going to increase your faith in the Lord. Believing in the Lord is to be afraid of his judgment. To believe in the Lord is to believe in his words. To believe in the Lord is to believe in his son, I don't see him. I don't see the Heavenly Father, but I'm looking at these trees. I'm looking at the air. I'm looking at the water, let alone, where is Jake at? Four corners of the earth. This was prophesied and it actually happened, right? You got Russia wanting to bomb America, which scripture-wise, those are going to be the ones that destroy them. We see America have allies that pertain to the 10 horns, and they got 7 heads. We see this right now. Scriptures is accurate. We seeing blood moons. That's in the scriptures. Accurate. We seeing 30-day cycle in the moon, and it's a dark moon, which is the beginning of a month, right? Hey, that shows the scriptures is real. By faith, I believe this. There's no point for me to argue with somebody if the scriptures is real. We could just say these things, and if they got belief, wow, that's amazing. That is real. Look how a woman have a child in her womb. That woman don't create that. The Lord takes the seed, the sperm from a man, plant that in the womb, and he's molding and creating the child. A woman is burying and carrying the child. That's all by the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Right? All your organs is in your stomach. The Lord pushes it aside and do all these things just for a whole living being can be in your stomach. That right there, the Yahweh Shem Yahushai deserve to be glorified. Right? How the Lord created a woman different from a man. Body looking like this, it doesn't matter if you're skinny, thick, chubby. Hey, if it attracts a man's eyes, the Lord made you like that, where it pleases a man's eyes and it pleases his body. The Lord created you like that. Bam, bam, chippy yam. The Lord created you men with a rod, with a fishing pole, because you going fishing. You know what I'm saying? Yahweh Shem Yahushai made that. They talking about a damn comet or evolution made you or man made the earth. Nigga, you bugging. Right? We had to get created. We have to believe in the Lord to the highest level. You know? So the standing pillar of salt is a monument of an unbelieving soul, right? Unbelieving soul. So now let's get that Hebrews 13 and 12 again. Hebrews 3 and 12. It says, "Take heed, brethren, lest there be in any of you an evil heart, an evil heart of unbelief in departing from the living power. In the NLT, it says, be careful then, dear brothers and sisters, make sure that your own hearts are not evil in unbelieving, turning you away from the living God. Right? Now, since I quoted earlier, I didn't really want to use it, but I think we're going to use Revelations, the 13th chapter. Salaki, Revelations 21. And I'm gonna read the brother's precept, man. This is Revelations 21 and which one did I have written down? 21 and 8. This is Revelations 21 and 8. It says, but the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. Right? World War III, right? When those nukes come down in America and Israel, the 2/3, that's your second death. Right? What was the first death? The flood. But the second death is during the time of World War III, during the time of Jacob's trouble. So those that are unbelieving, abominable, murderers, whoremongers, men that have sex for money, right? Sorcerers, idolaters, starting with Israel, and then all you other nations, anybody that touched that, you're gonna be consumed, right? And all liars, men and women of Israel. If you are a liar, you like the dude Ananias and his wife, they lied to the Rakakwadash. Don't you know sometimes you could be going through something and you ain't saying to you like everything good, but you really dealing with something through the spirit. You actually lying, and eventually the Lord allows it to come out. For anybody, hey, you know, men, women, children, you know problems that just happened. You know problems that happened a month ago, a year ago, maybe a few days ago. Don't matter how good you was. It don't matter what this person did, with that person. You holding something back which needed to be fixed or in order, right? And then you acting like everything is good and dandy, right? Guess what? You gotta have the fear of the Lord because you want to make yourself without no blemish. You want your garment to be clean, right? There's no need to be lying to the spirit, because guess what? The Lord will have whatever you holding back come out a month later, and it's gonna hit worse than it would. It's gonna hit worse than what you could have said when it happened, just so it could be fixed. Think about it, right? The day Peter had to deny Yahushua, right? Yahushua told him. So now when he actually did it, it hit just even worse. It had to happen. Right? It's no prophecy for you to be holding something and then a month later it caused a catastrophic event, you know? But in those times, the Lord is revealing because he want our faith to increase. He want our posture in this truth to increase. He want us to change our habits, right? Not just for your spouse or whatever, for you, to benefit you, right? The brother put it, man, he laying them down. This is Psalms 103. Know ye that Yahweh Shem Shai, he is power. It is he that have made us, and not we ourselves. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture. Hey, you can even get Ezekiel 34 and 31. Who is his pasture? The men. That's the man, actually drop that. Get that. I actually might get it before you. Ezekiel 34 and 21, because it says the sheep of his pastures. Hold on, I get it because I'm close. I'm gonna get it before you. Right? This is Ezekiel 34 and 31. Yep. Yeah, Ezekiel 34 and 31. Ye my flock, and the flock of my pasture are men, and I am your power, save Yahweh Shem Shai. So just like I said earlier, if a woman is married to the men of the Lord, or you learn it under the feet of the men of the Lord, right? The men that are bringing sound doctrine, 100% truth, right? Not everybody is bringing it. Yes, the hopeful elect might come out of all other congregations, but again, they have to come out those congregations. So somebody is bringing forth 100% truth, right? So at the end of the day, those men of the Lord, however they moving, how they standing 10 toes down, if a woman is learning under them, or if you married to those men, right? Guess what? That is the pasture. Those are the flock of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. That's why you want to be careful the things that you say. How if a woman say, I don't care what you think. I don't give a hell with how you feel. You know what? I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna walk out and do whatever I want. A woman that's just talking back and forth. A man that want to put order in his house. You don't want to put in order. You want to be in control. Hey, you are being watched, man, and you gonna get afflicted. Women gonna get afflicted. How brothers is cussing out the apostles, saying this, all, and that about it. But guess what? It has to happen. You need people to speak about the men of the Lord because they're gonna be hated. Guess what? If you following under the feet of the men of the Lord, under that 100% sound doctrine, guess what? If they speaking about them, they speaking about you. The man said, anybody following them, fuck you too. I heard the man say that. So through the spirit, when the men of the Lord, it doesn't matter if it's the top, the middle dog, the lower dog. Guess what? Because that is a body. When you speaking about them, you speaking about the whole. When they're coming at Paul and trying to come at his ministry, guess what? He was still connected to others that were part of that ministry. So you afflicting them all because they are a part of the body of Yahweh Shai. Think about it, sis. It's dangerous out here. Yeah, yo. One time I was thinking about negative on my daughter because it was just some problems. My ace boom coon, my little sunshine. And I'm at work and I'm listening to the word. Yo, for a whole hour, I couldn't even listen to the word. I couldn't watch no video. And I'm right next to my brother, the one that's the head of the camp, Yarmayan. His phone is working. We got the same phone service, the same iPhone. I'm like, yo, what the heck? Man, I put my phone down, went to the bathroom, and just for me, I felt just off of faith that because of certain situations, I was thinking negative because of just certain things. And I had to go rebuke myself, because of course my daughter's a child and her faith is not, I just be wanting the best. But I shouldn't be thinking that. That goes back to the plague of mind. I rebuke myself. Yo, I'm telling you, nothing like soon as I got back, turn my earphones off, turn it back on, connect everything back, the phone and all of that, the Bluetooth. The phone and the Bible start working again. That's how I knew that, I started feeling like, my daughter could be of the elect. Of course, because she under me, but I shouldn't be, I should be over here giving her exhortation, encouraging her. Hey, babe, you could do better. Hey, babe, think of this. Hey, babe, of that. Instead of just piling negativity on her because you don't want to put your children to wrath. So that was my motivation. So now I don't think no negative on anybody in my house unless somebody pisses me off. But then eventually I say something, even with my brothers, because you don't want to be speaking about the elect, especially the men of the Lord. You don't, you don't, man. And if you doing, I don't think you got belief in this thing. Well, what did those kids do when they was talking shit to Alicia? He started rebuking them, and the Lord cursing them in Hebrew, and the Lord sent bears, and they devoured and ripped them kids. What is it, 42 of them? Right? Be careful speaking about the men of the Lord. Be careful how you talk to them. This is Sirach 24 and 22. It says, he that obeyeth me shall never be confounded, right? Never be confused. It says, they that work by me shall not be dismissed, right? And guess what? How do you work by the Lord? This ministry, man. This walk. This dated. Shalom, Salak. I don't know. The phone was getting hot, man. And hey, the Yahweh Shemal Shai is here, man. Yahweh Shemal Shai is definitely here, man. The phone got hot. The phone got hot. So Lord willing, I don't hold y'all up for too long. I'm about to read this is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 1 verse 2. It says, for he will be found of them that tempt him not, and showeth himself unto such as do not distrust him. Right? Very plain. Right? He won't reveal himself to those that don't trust in him. that really makes me think of Wisdom of Solomon, the third chapter, because those that trust him will understand this truth, right? This Wisdom of Solomon 1 and 2 in the G and T, it says, those who do not try to test him, right? Tempt him, test him, will find him, and he will show himself to those who trust him, right? So those who trust in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, the Lord will reveal himself unto them, which is a secret, right? When you go to Wisdom of Solomon, the third chapter that I was quoting, um, you go to verse 9, it says, they that put their trust in him shall understand the truth, and such as be faithful in love shall abide with him, right? Remain with him. It says, for grace and mercy is to his saints, and he have care for his elect. And the elect is going to always come back and trust in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. It says, but the ungodly shall be punished according to their own imagination, right? And the ungodly is the unfaithful or the unbelieving. It says, which have neglected the righteous and forsaken Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. For whoso despiseth wisdom, which wisdom is Yahushai, it says, nourished, he is miserable and their hope is vain. Their labors unfruitful and their works unprofitable, right? So you don't want to despise wisdom. We don't want to despise this truth. We don't want to distrust the Lord. You want to trust in the Lord. You want to trust in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai with all your heart, right? Hey, just because I was following under this understanding, and then I was under this camp and they wasn't trying to teach or go back over the same breakdowns to sharpen it up to make sense of it, when I'm gonna say, oh man, it's not the truth. If I'm really in this, I'm gonna keep seeking it, just like the people of Berea, right? He said they had a readiness of mind. They was seeking the scriptures daily to see if it was so. If what he is saying is not so and is looking somewhere else, I have to constantly seek these. Okay, this is not adding up. So now I got to go to another man of the Lord. Hey, yo, brother, I believe it's this, because you've been in this thing for a minute and you've been teaching, and the Lord been working with you. What does this Romans 11 go into? And he's giving the sense, oh nah, this right here is dealing with Israel. The whole book is dealing with Israel. That's gonna make me be like, oh snap, this might be the teacher that I'm looking for. This might be the man of the Lord, right? Because you want to follow somebody that's bringing in sound doctrine, bringing in the teaching that actually lines up 100%, which goes back into sound doctrine, right? You want to be teaching the same thing. You don't want to have different minds in this thing. You don't want to have division in this thing. You want to be able to teach the same thing. You want to relate or cleave to somebody that's teaching something that you're able to see, that you can search in the scriptures daily and be like, oh, that's it. That's so. That's it. And you can add to it. You can add precepts that he probably didn't add in the breakdown, right? That's lining up with it. You see? Sharpen each other's sword. You want to sharpen up your sword with somebody that's going to sharpen you up. You don't want to sharpen your sword where after you see him grinding on a dang rock, and when you get it, the joint won't even slice wood. It won't even slice paper. Like, man, what the hell? I just was sitting here for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and this shit not even sharp. What the heck was you doing? That you might have to get a whole new rock. You want to get somebody that's actually putting value to your sword, right? You want somebody that's adding value to your sword, right? Let's go to Romans 11 and 20. This is Romans 11 and 20. And I just did a lesson on Romans, the 11th chapter. Um, Again, just did it again. Lord willing, I might do it again. But this is Romans chapter 11 and verse 20. It says, well, because of unbelief, I'll start at 19. I'll start at 18. It says, boast not against the branches, but if thou boast, thou bearest not the root, but the root thee. Thou wilt say, then the branches were broken off, that I might be grafted in. Well, because of unbelief they were broken off, and thou standest by faith. Be not high-minded, but fear. Right? And truly, when we look at the scriptures, who was broken off because of unbelief? starting with who the Lord was delivering this truth to first, right? It says Judah shall be saved first. I believe that's Zechariah, the 12th chapter, verse 7. And some of the Jews, starting with the Pharisees, the men underneath them, and women and children, right, that were of a certain age, they didn't believe in Hamashiach Yahushai, right? They were broken off. But then you have others that wasn't believing or following the ways of the Lord, even in the Old Testament, and they were broken off where they didn't even believe, right? Actually, let's go to, um, it was just in my head. It was just in my head, just in my head, just in my head. Is it going to come back? It was just in my head. It might come back. Hebrews 3 and 19. It might come back. Hebrews 3 and 19. It says, so we see that they could not enter in because of unbelief, right? And that just goes in dealing with the elect. Israel have not obtained what they seek it for. All Israel couldn't obtain what they were seeking for because they had no belief. This is why the Lord sent, starting with Peter, but then really to establish Paul to go to the Gentiles, because they was going to come in this thing and have belief. That's why when you go back to Romans 11 chapter, verse 11, it says, and I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? God forbid, but rather through their fall, salvation has come to the Gentiles, right? And those that didn't believe, right? It was some that did, but it was many of the Jews that didn't, starting with Judah, that didn't believe. So now this salvation is given to the Gentiles to bring in this moment now where all Jake are in the mindset of being Gentiles, right? It came back to me what I was going to get. Let me see. The brother put Sirach 27:11. Okay, I see you. You put some more scriptures down. Right, let me get this real quick because it came back to me. This is Zechariah, the 12th chapter, verse 7. Yahweh also shall save the tent of Judah first, that the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah. So yes, it was a so-called elect of Judah that actually believed in Yahushua, right? Not all Judah believed, and not all Benjamin and Levi believed, because that's where it pertains to. That's why their salvation fell to the Gentiles, because they didn't believe, right? And you have the example many when you really dissect the gospel, right? But the brother put Sirach 27 verse 11 and 12. It says the discourse of a ungodly man is always with wisdom, but a fool changeth as the moon, right? It says, if thou be among the discreet, observe the time, right? If you are of the discreet, observe the time, but be continually among men of understanding, right? You should be observing the time that we in, especially what I said earlier. The men of the Lord are outside their owner's unicorn. Before it was always, you was always hearing the Christians, right? Hebrew Israelites been around since the late 50s, the 1969, right? But Christianity been pushing a Shabbat Dabba Ding Dong on a high level. But now you see brothers teaching we the people, we the people. Yo, that's a problem. I'm not going to even boast up about Christian or any other belief. Now people speaking that we are of the people, bringing forth prophecy. All these other beliefs ain't bringing no prophecy. The Christians ain't even, the Christianity, nobody in that church is bringing forth prophecy. But the men of the Lord that's coming out that cloth is bringing the prophecies, right? Because that's the spirit of Yahushua. Revelations 19 and 10. Your faith should be increasing. The Lord woke you up at the perfect time. Not at your time, but at the perfect time, right? Paul didn't get in this thing before Peter. He got woken at the perfect time, right before where the Lord was establishing the ministry for the Gentiles, right? You want to get in this thing at the perfect time. Don't hey. Don't be somebody that's from a distance and you can't even see it, right? You might get left behind in this thing. You don't want to be them that was able to hear this word first in the time of Yahushai, right? And couldn't even believe in it. 70 disciples was walking with Yahushua, and all of them left except for the 12, and one of them was a damn devil, which was Judas Iscariot. I don't want to be of those 70 that didn't follow and then walked out. I want to be of the 12, because even when the 12 were teaching, it was believers that followed under them. It was men that grew up to be apostles and prophets and was teaching the same word, just like we got right now. I want to be of those that believe, because I see myself teaching. I'm afraid. I do not want to notice death by pain. I don't. Right? You got to make that a reality. Right? I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it daily. That man, that burning situation ain't good, man. I don't want that. Even more, I don't want that for my household. But again, this is up for them too. If they ain't getting right, hey, you gonna get it too. But even more is motivation that it's a lot on my shoulders. I'm not just only trying to get it for myself. I'm getting it. I'm trying to get it for my family, but not even only for my family too. I'm doing all things for the elect's sake, for their faith, right? For their courage, right? So that they can be encouraged. This is St. John chapter 3, and I'll start at verse 16. It says, "For God so loved the world of Israel," because Yahweh is speaking to a ruler of the Jews, right? Every nation has their own world, especially when it comes to customs, religions, and belief, right? It says that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life, right? And that everlasting life go with the everlasting covenant that was spoken through David, spoken to Abraham, right, for his descendants, which the everlasting covenant is going to the descendants of Jacob, right? So those that believe, if you don't believe in Yahweh Shai, you don't believe in his name, you're going to perish. It says, for God sent not his Son into the world, right, into the world of Israel to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. So the whole nation of Israel is going to be saved through Yahweh Shai. But Yahweh Shai prayed for the elect, because the Lord is going to do the same rotation that he did with Noah, which is going to save the righteous, or the elect of the elect out of that nation, which is the elect. He's not going to save the whole nation on this side, but they're going to be saved through the loins of the men. First, he's going to save the elect, starting with the 144,000, the other men, women, and children, right? After that 1,000-year reign, or in between those, men are going to be multiplied, planting seeds in their wives, and children and children and children and children and children and children is going to come out, right? Verse 18, it says, "He that believeth on me is not condemned, but he that believeth not is condemned already, because he have not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God." Right? And this is where faith kicks in, right? When somebody telling you his name is not Jesus, right? That was a created name for the Latin, but his name, when it goes back, because Yahushua was a Hebrew, it goes back to what his name means, right? So in Hebrew, names mean something, right? So his name, what consists of him? He saves, he delivers. When you translate that back into Paleo Hebrew, it goes back into Yahweh Shai. So we actually have to believe in his name in the ancient Hebrew, which Mary and Joseph knew the ancient Hebrew. And when the angel Gabriel gave him the name, he was speaking to them in ancient Hebrew. When Yahweh Shai was speaking to Paul, he was speaking in the native tongue. When you go into that native, it goes to the original or origin language. And that origin language for Hebrew was Hebrew. That's why you're called Hebrew Israelites. Hebrew for the language, and Israelite who you descend from. Right? Esau is not a descendant from Israel. He is a descendant from Isaac, right? So anybody that descend from Edom is an Edomite. Anybody that descend from Jacob is an Israelite. But you are a Hebrew Israelite because that was your ancient tongue, Hebrew, right? You were speaking a Hebrew dialect, which is the language of Canaan, right? So what was his name? Yahweh Shai, which is translated in meaning he saves or he delivers. When you go into the prologues of the book of Sirach, you can see when things are spoken its original language, it has a stronger meaning. So when we're reading the Old Testament and we go back to the Hebrew, and these words is Hebrew, it's gonna have a stronger meaning when we go into certain things, like when we go into the word mark, M-A-R-K, uh, in Ezekiel 9 and 4, twaf or tav, right? That goes into a mark of exemption from judgment. But if we go into the New Testament, M-A-R-K, in Revelations 13, the mark is charagma in the Greek, and that goes to a physical mark. So it's different from the Hebrew mark, and I can't make the Greek mark a Hebrew mark when these words is Greek. So even when we go into the Greek word Isis or Jesus, right, is going to take you back to the root of the word, which is going to bring you, because every word might have a root to either Aramaic or Hebrew, but the root word of Jesus, which goes into the Greek Jesus or Isis, right, is going to bring you to Joshua's name, Jeshua, and it's multiple precepts, which you can go to Numbers 13 and 16, and it's going to say when Moses called Hosea, which he was called Hosea, and called him Jeshua, right? But then you can see the proper, that's going into modern Hebrew, but when you get the proper name and take you back to Paleo, it's going to say Yahweh Shai. And there's three people out the scriptures that had the name Yahweh Shai. I think, what is it? The grandson of Sirach, Yahweh Shai, Joshua, Yahweh Shai, and then the Heavenly Father's begotten son, Yahweh Shai, right? So again, St. John 3:18, he that believeth on him is not condemned, but he that believeth not is condemned already, because he have not believed in the name of the only begotten Son, right? It's more power in Yahweh Shai. So if you truly have a relationship with the Lord and somebody telling you his name is Yahweh Shai, you're going to believe in that. Then Proverbs 30 and 4. What is his father's name? What is his son's name? If thou can tell, right? Those are mysteries. The brother put Proverbs 18 and 10. The name of Yahweh is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe. How do we run to it? Guess what? When problems come, when you sick, you are, oh, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, please give me strength. Or you praying for somebody else. Somebody else is going through sickness. Like when I see my brother in pain at work, his tooth, his body, that joint make me mad. And because, I really got to connect. Like, I really love this brother. Like, a lot of times I love him more than myself. This is the first brother I talked to coming in this thing. That was actually laboring. I love this brother. I love his whole family. Like I love this brother. So seeing him in pain, it bothers me. If he dealing with problems within his house, it bothers me. So I'm calling on Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. My children going through some health problems, going through some situations with their family, or the wife having a problem, or this wife having a problem, her mental, or I'm having situations in my own house. I'm calling on Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Because most times any problem is of the Lord. Or you receive good or evil at the hand of the Lord, because the Lord want to test your faith. The Lord want to see is you gonna call on His name. The Lord wants to see is you gonna call Him for redirection, for correction, for uplifting, right? To redirect a situation, right? The Lord is a strong tower for all things, man. Come on, man. And He's a light tower. You know, He shines light on things. That's why we need Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Come on, you gotta say that name. Say it proud. When they say I'm black and I'm proud, man, say Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai and be proud about it. Because when we said in Hebrews 3 and 12, if you're unbelieving, that's evil, right? And even in Revelations 21 and 8, if you're an unbeliever, you're gonna die in that lake of fire. So reading verse 19, it says, "For everyone," oh Salaki, verse 19, "and this is the condemnation, that light is coming to the world, and men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil." And anybody going to darkness, right? You are not of the Lord. You are an unbeliever. "For everyone that doeth evil hateth light, Neither cometh to light, lest his deed should be reproved, right? Corrected, right? This and little things that we do, it should make you think. If you get reproved, guess what? That's not right. As a woman, you shouldn't be moving. You shouldn't be thinking like that. That's evil. Hey, brother, this and that. You want to look at it as a correction, right? To reprove you. But he that doeth truth cometh to the light, that his deed may be made manifest, that they are wrote in God, right? That's why you want the things that you do to be manifested in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, everything that you do, right? When we're able to call on the Lord for correction, right? When we're able to see things for the value that they is in this world, in relationship, dealing with brothers, right? That's the Lord giving you a chance to redirect it, to correct it, to fix it, to cleanse it, to clean out the blemish. But if you ain't able to see it, guess what? The Lord is allowing you to be blind, right? It could take you a month. It could take you 2 months. Then now that you see it, you got to look like, damn, it took me 2 months to see this. Yo, it took me a minute to stop smoking weed. It took me a minute to stop smoking blacks. It took me a minute to stop doing vapes. Even I was doing it, but then eventually the Lord let me see my brother say something to me. And then, my first wife say something. I'm like, wait, oh, hold on. Yo, that's the Lord giving me a warning. The Lord speaketh once, speaketh twice, but man perceiveth not. Right? Sometimes, hey, the Lord might not. You might not even see those signs. But how long is it going to take you to see it? This is why I speak on a lot of things that I have done that I couldn't see, because it makes me go harder. And Lord willing, it could be a motivation to you. Paul was speaking about him persecuting the church to many people. So don't get upset because somebody bringing up your downfalls of this. That's supposed to motivate you. Look how far you came. But if that's still there, you still got to perfect yourself, because those left-hand side spirits are going to attack those things that you have a weakness to. I don't want to be consumed by the spirit of the Lord. So I'm not about to make an Israelite pick up this cigarette and smoke it. I can't do that. Me even speaking about it, that can't make you speak. That can't make you do nothing. Man's going to the Lord. I can't make nobody do nothing. Now, if I'm a whole demon, yeah, like I can threaten somebody and make them do something, right? But you yourself is all Yahweh by Shem Yahushai. Those left-hand sides, some spirits is gonna be in you and make you do things that you have an interest in your heart, right? When somebody lying all the time, that's an interest in your damn heart, right? People try to cover up certain things, cover up a crime. That's a damn spirit in you, man. Interest. You know what? If I hide it, nobody would know. But guess what? The Lord is revealing. You know what? Let's get that one too in Ecclesiastes 12 and 14. That's a fearful thing of the Lord, because the Lord is revealing things that some of us might be trying to hide. This Ecclesiastes 12 and 14. It says, "For God shall bring every work into judgment, with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil." Right? So brothers, be careful. Sisters, be careful. Because even if you trying to cover up whatever you been bothering, or whatever the Lord don't like, or whatever it is, or it can't be fixed, the Lord is going to have it be revealed. Right? Hey, is it revealed to point the finger all the time? No, it's revealed to show you Yahweh did it. God did. The Lord is the one that reveals it. The Lord will have you slip out your mouth. He'll have you slip it out. Why? Because the Lord wanted to be fixed. Right? We have to fix our unbelief, man. Whoever is unbelieving in this thing. You know how I'm always saying maximize your faith? Is because our mother sucking flesh is so weak that eventually you'll keep unbelieving. Wait, when fear come to you because you in this flesh, you have to know we're in the flesh. Eventually you're gonna have fear, but you have to overpower it, because the spirit is willing but the flesh is weak. Always practice and master yourself in the spirit. Right? Let's get these ones and then we're gonna close. This is Second Corinthians, the 4th chapter, in verse 3 and 4. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 3 and 4. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 3 and 4 says, "But if the gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Hamashiach, who is the image of God, should shine unto them." First is the spiritual principalities and high places on the left-hand side, the sinister side of the Lord. And then you have the physical deity, which Esau, even Jake, that promotes stuff that's of this world, and then it blinds you and take you away from this ministry. And that goes back to the things that's in your heart. Matthew 6:24, right? Wherever your heart is, that's what your treasure is. So if you have a heart on weed, cigarettes, right? It could be drinking liquor and you get out of order, or however it is. Guess what? It will draw you to those things, and then you get out of order, right? It could be a certain drug, it could be a certain habit, it could be a certain thing that you do. Those spirits will attack those things and bring you into it, right? And it would be things of this world, and the things of the world will take you out of the truth, right? You could be doing some of the world, going go-karting, traveling, and it's not taking you out the truth. I know brothers that's doing trucking, which if I could, I would do that, where they travel, they go into different cities, and the brother's still doing videos. Because nothing is going to separate you from the love of Yahweh Shema Shai if you of the elect. And if you have that desire to teach the word of the Lord, you have the love for the elect, you're going to constantly shake your hand. You're going to constantly look at the state of your flock and feed them, right? This is 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter. No, Salaki. 2 Corinthians, wait, Salaki. Salaki family. Salaki. A little excited. This is 2 Chronicles. We're going to go back to this one again and we're going to close. This is 2 Chronicles, the 15th chapter, verse 13. It says, that whosoever would not seek Yahweh, power of Israel, should be put to death, whether small or great, whether man or woman. Right? When we go into this word seek, it goes into investigate or seek with care. Right? You want to investigate the Lord. Right? That is going to increase your faith. Right? If you doubt, this is where the men of the Lord is at. Like when the apostles and the men of the Lord be saying, hey, if you got a sincere question, ask it on the comment section. And if it is sincere, brothers will do a video on it just so that you could be edified. Right? Seeking the Lord is seeking in this word, seeking his face continually, and seeking the prophets, especially for you women, right? Some of you women might try to get understanding your own and line precepts, right? The Lord didn't give you this ability to be all precepty. That's what the men of the Lord is for, because you could probably precept a whole chapter and you give it to the men of the Lord, he'd be like, I see what you use this for, but this is the right precept to use for this verse. That's why for you want to be like Mary. In the time of Mary and Martha, Mary was learning under the feet of Yahweh Shai. She was just listening to the word and believing. That's what a true woman of this faith is going to do. They most likely are going to hear this word and believe. Yes, for your own time and your own exercise, you're going to read, sharpen up your faith, get into the history of women, of a wife, build up your faith in that way. But most women is going to learn under the men of the Lord, right? But Lord willing, this was edifying, and in some way you can work and practice on your unbelief. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to the one true power, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash, the Wadi Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, for allowing us to hear this word. Lord willing, we were edified, right? Double honors to the other apostles and elders of great millstone who rule well and teach well through the Spirit. And a mighty shalom to the hopeful elect that are scattered four corners of the earth in the same spirit, being diligent and sincere, Lord willing, in the same spirit, in the same sound doctrine. Lord willing, y'all continue to endure and be sincere. Shalom to the Akwath Yum, believers of this faith and this truth. Lord willing, you continue to pursue a lot. Shalom, shalom, and Lord willing, the Most have mercy on the other brothers and sisters that's not in the faith. Shalom, above, above.